We are live here in the Circle Leadership headquarters studio. I have been frothing at the bit for this session today. We're going to be talking about leadership and culture and strategy, the three things that I love most, the work that we do in the world. But I'm going to share with you today a leadership framework, or what started as the leadership framework, which then formulated into our cultural framework, and how we connect culture and strategy together. So if you're interested in learning how to build an invincible culture that captures the spirit of your people, which is your one true sustainable competitive advantage in the business world today, then this one is going to be for you. Also, if you're really excited to learn how to actually hack culture and strategy so that culture does not have to eat strategy for breakfast anymore, this one is for you. This is a very exciting session. It's going to be very fundamental. You're looking at it and go, oh my God, like that just makes perfect sense. Because one of the things that we do at Circle Leadership that we're really proud of is the fact that we're helping organizations create human-centric organizations. Organizational behavior that mirrors human behavior that just makes sense to people. So we're going to share with that with you today on the whiteboard. And I'm going back to the old drawing, the very original drawing I did of the leadership framework, which, as I said, rolled into becoming our cultural framework, and actually was the birth of our business evolution roadmap. So this one's going to go back in the archives, but it's going to be a really cool fundamental lesson I'm going to share with people. So if invincible cultures is something you would like, can you imagine having an invincible culture? Where your culture acts like a magnet. It becomes culture is the ultimate filter for talent. So culture will become like a magnet where it can attract the right people and repel those who don't want to be a part of it. Doesn't make them bad human beings. It just means they don't want to be a part of your organization. Your culture will hold that strength. Can you also imagine, that organizational culture that permeates through everything you do? A lot of people get this misconception that culture is just about employee engagement. Culture permeates every part of your business through your decision making, your strategic stuff that you're doing, just everything. You're the supplier, strategic partners that you choose to engage with, obviously your team as well. So culture is critical to an organization. This is why I say culture is king. Now, if we also say that culture eats strategy for breakfast, the suggestion is that no matter how great your strategy is, if you don't have the right culture, your strategy will not be executed on. But what if your actual strategy was born from culture? And we could show you how to create a culture and strategy alignment where you have this tremendous sense of clarity and alignment and direction of focus that just flow on from each other. And actually your culture almost then therefore acts like a shield and wraps around your strategy. Then culture would never have to eat strategy for breakfast again. What it will do is it will protect your strategy like a mother wrapping its arms around to protect a child. Can you imagine having this invincible culture that protects your strategy, that attracts the right people to your organization, that actually allows people to fall in love with why you do what you do? It actually allows them to see the future of your organization so they can see themselves having a future in the organization. Can you imagine having a culture that people just want to be a part of that? This is what we're going to show you how to do. So without further ado, I think I've built it up enough, I hope. Let's jump over to the whiteboard. Since it is Whiteboards with Dave, we should actually use the whiteboard. Here we go. Let's see. Actually, we'll do it this one here. So we'll make it nice and big. All right, so this is the original drawing of the leadership framework. So what we want to look at is the first thing that matters most, of course, in any organization is getting very clear on your purpose. Okay, why does your business exist? What is the problem that you're passionate about solving in this world? We need to have a clearly defined sense of purpose. This is the first part of building an invincible culture. There's three things that people are looking for when you talk about building an invincible culture. Let me just move this over. These are the three things that people are looking for. So the first one is purpose. It's a sense of meaning to the work. They want something to believe in. People are looking for something to believe in. All right. It's really important that they have the sense of meaning. If you look at today's generations, even my generation and even my parents' generation, we all wanted some sense of meaning to the work that we do. And we wanted to know that we were contributing, that we were making a difference. Making money is wonderful, but how you make money and why you make money is more important than how much money you make. So if we look at this, how do we help people get that something to believe in? And that's where purpose comes in, all right? So something to believe in is that purpose. Then what we want to do is make sure that we have a set of values that guide us. And we always say values guide, right? Because our values are there to be the guardians of our purpose. They're there to make sure that we do not stray from our purpose. Our values are the unique thinking of our organization. It's how we think around here. Now, a lot of organizations and a lot of leadership gurus and people out there will tell you, you got to make sure that your values align. Well, we kind of look at it a little bit differently. What we believe is that your values are there to obviously guide you and make smarter decisions and empower your team to make those smarter decisions. But they're also there to guard your purpose. They're the guardians of your purpose. So what your values should do is they should be there to reject anything that tries to come through here. If it doesn't fit with your values, it should reject it, right? Because our values are there to reject the things that don't fit with us. My values don't have to be the same as yours for us to work together. But if any of my values reject your values, we're going to have a hard time. Or if any of your values reject mine, we're going to have a hard time working together. Your values there to look at, does this reject our values? So if you're looking at a large automotive company, that worldwide company that many years ago that had a scandal around emissions, and one of their core values was care and sustainability for the environment, and someone came running into the boardroom and said, I've got this really great way where we can cheat the emission tests and we don't have to reduce the emissions that we do because we can just make it look like that we have. That should have come into that organization, bounced off the values, and be kicked right out because it did not fit with the care and sustainability for the environment if they lived and loved that value. So values are there to be the protectors. They're the guardians of your purpose. They're there to tell us how to think, not what to think. So they're also there to allow your team to know that they have someone who believes in them, that they have a leader who empowers them to make smarter decisions, that you believe in me and you allow me to take ownership and responsibility and have creativity, imagination, and freedom to think about my work. Now I have someone who believes in me. So I have something to believe in, my purpose, and I have someone who believes in me. Then the next part of the invincible culture then is your vision. And your vision as a leader is your inspiring picture of the world that's bigger than all of us combined and something you can't accomplish alone, right? A lot of people in organizations, when they think about vision today, go, oh, I see, 20 circle leaderships all around the world. This is our vision. That's not a vision. Those are goals. A vision would be the impact of you having all those. So when we work with people on vision, when you want to create this vision for your life, for your world, for your business, if I got up for every single day for 3,650 days in a row and lived our purpose every single day through the lens of our values for 10 years or 20 years, what would the impact of that be? Your vision is the impact of you living your purpose or your business driving its purpose every single day through the lens of the values to create a world where, so imagine what would the world look like because you guys got up and did what you do every day for the people you choose to do it for, and you did that through the lens of your values. What would be the impact that your business is going to have on the world? Now, please understand, when I say the world, I'm talking about your world. It doesn't have to be the whole world, but I assure you, if you're making an impact on your world, it will impact the world. So we need to have this inspiring picture of the world, this vision, because that's the third part of an invincible culture, which gives the team someone to believe in. So I now have a leader that I can believe in that has a picture of the world that's greater than all of us combined. So firstly, I have something to believe in, a sense of purpose. I have someone who believes in me, that's a leader who's empowering me with values to make smarter decisions and be more involved in the work, involved in decisions about the work. And I have someone to believe in, which is a leader who has a vision, a picture of the world that's greater than all of us combined and something we can't accomplish alone. Now you have the hallmarks of an invincible culture. And this creates your leadership framework. So this is the boundaries of the shield or the outlines of the shield that you have for your organization. So you'll have a purpose there now that engages people. You have a set of values now that will empower your team. And you have a vision that will inspire people. Can you imagine working in a place where you're engaged in the work that you're doing every day, you're empowered to make decisions, and you're inspired by the bigger picture of what all this is about? What a great place to work. I have something to believe in, someone who believes in me, and someone I can believe in. So how does this then create this shield that we're talking about? How do you create the culture and strategy link here? How do we actually align culture and strategy? Well, here's the exciting part. Let's change this to go orange here. So if we know why we get up to work every day, we know how we think about it, we know the world we want to create, and let's say this is like 10 to 20 years from now, all right? And I want to go here 3. So I'll do that, and then let's go back to here. So we know the world that we want to create. 10 to 20 years from now, this is the inspiring picture of the world that we have. All we have to do then is work out then our organization, who we are today, who do we need to become in the next 3 years to start creating that world? And this is what our mission is. Our mission is to become this organization that we need to, that would start to create this world that we see. And you'll find that there'll be another mission, and there'll be another mission as we progress over the years towards that, because business is a series of evolutions. Your mission is just the next evolution of your business. So if you look at where your business was 3 years ago to where it is today, is it the same business today that it was 3 years ago? Probably not. And is your business today going to be the same in the next 3 years? Probably not. If so, if it is the same, you might find yourself growing into obscurity or irrelevance. If you want to evolve and stay relevant in the hearts and minds of the people that you choose to serve, you need to ideally work out what is the next evolution of our business. And this mission, this first mission that you create here, is just a first step towards fulfilling that vision. So who must we become in the next 3 years to start creating that world? Because what we've just done then is our mission has now been born from our vision, and our vision is the last hallmark of an invincible culture. And this is how we've just created an alignment between culture and strategy. Here's why we get up every day. Here's how we think about it to create this world. Then we go, well, who do we need to become in the next 3 years to start creating that world? And guess what? That's our mission. It is now linked to vision, which is part of our culture. So now you'll have a mission here that evolves you and your team. So at Circle Leadership, when we talk about, we help leaders to evolve themselves and their businesses to stay relevant. If you're not interested in staying relevant in the next 3 years, you might as well stop watching this. But if you want your business to become what it needs to be capable of, you are a leader, you've built the business where it is today. Now you're saying the business needs to become this. Well, then what we're challenging you on is going, well, who do I need to become then to lead that business? Because business is a series of evolutions, but we constantly evolve as human beings as well. So how are you evolving as a leader to become the leader that would lead that type of business? Because what we see a lot of times happen is that we imagine this business that's bigger than we are, and we don't become any more than what we are, and then the business gets bigger than us, and it all falls down on us, and or pushes down. And this is where stress, anxiety, depression, everything like that comes from, because the business has gotten bigger than we are, and it's putting the weight of that business on us, is causing us challenges because we're not evolving at the same rate. So you must evolve. So our mission allows all of us to evolve as an organization. Now, please also understand, as a leader, you go first so the team can go further. This is why we say leaders evolve themselves and the businesses, because you need to go first so your team can go further. You need to create the space and capacity for your team to continue to evolve too. So now you've got your mission here, so we know who we need to become. Organizationally then, strategically, we just have to go, here's how our strategy then is, how do we fulfill the mission? The mission itself is not the strategy. The mission is just who we must become. The strategy is how we become that organization. Now, unfortunately, most organizations today still have one common denominator when working at the strategy of their business, and that is usually a financial number, whether it's revenue, profitability, or whatever. Please understand that is important, but money or your finance, the fuel for the business, is exactly that, fuel. When money is your end game, you'll play any game. So I'm not saying that money shouldn't be an important part, but money is an objective. It's a goal. It is not the strategy. It's not the determining factor of the strategy, right? If your strategy is how do we make this much money, you'll end up doing whatever you need to do to make that money. And then that's where you can dilute what your organization stands for. That's why you make bad judgment, bad decisions. You go against your values, and the organization can unravel very quickly. Now, money to a business is like oxygen to us as a human being. We need it to survive, but we weren't born just to breathe. Your organization was born to fulfill its purpose through the lens of values to create the world that you see, and you need to become this organization. So in order to do that, you need to work out what must be accomplished to show that you have become that organization. And this is your strategy, is going, okay, well, what's the team that I must have? What's the brand that we must have? What is the clients that we must have? What are the financial things we must have? What are the systems and operations we must have? What is that might be the industry relationship we must have to show that we have become that? So then you start setting your objectives to show how you're going to become that organization. And then you go, well, what results would we have that would show that we have those things in place in 3 years' time, in the strategic horizon that's out 3 years, to show that we've become that? And then what you can do is the same thing. You go, okay, well, in the next 12 months, what must be accomplished? What's the team we need in the next 12 months to have that team in the next 3 years? What's the brand we need in the next 12 months? What's the clients we need? What's the financial? What's the systems and operations and whatever else it might be that we need in the next 12 months to be, what's the increase of our capabilities here, then to have that team or that brand or those clients or that finance or that systems or those other things in 3 years' time. Because what you're building here is an evolution process for your organization. Strategically, you're setting up your business to make evolution the natural state of your business. So when you're doing this here, then we go, well, what are the results that we would have that would show that? This is how you make evolution the natural state of your business. Because evolution is about how do we steadily, progressively increase our capabilities, thus our capacity for greatness. Because when you only have a growth-based strategy, all you're working is how do we become more for more? How do we double down on what we're doing and serve more people, come up with a strategy that allows us to reach more people doing what we're already doing? Now, growth is good, but it's not great unless it's on the back of evolution, because you can grow into obscurity or irrelevance. How many businesses do you know that have gone out of business because they were growing and growing? And most of the most successful businesses that don't exist today, the year before they went bankrupt, had their biggest year ever. But what that is, they cling on to their business model 1 year too long. And every business model has a shelf life, and has yours expired and you just don't know it yet? But when you're making evolution the natural state of your business and you're steadily and progressively increasing your capabilities, you are therefore increasing your capacity for greatness as an organization. So by making evolution the natural state of your business, you're allowing this to happen naturally. And then you can have growth spurts at each level along the way. So as you look at your strategy unfolding here, then you go, hey, if that's where we need to be in 12 months, well, what are the 3 things that matter most in the next 90 days that we need to work on? And you might say, well, we need to work on our team. We need to work on our brand and what should they say, clients and brand, because it says TCB, then we're taking care of business. All right. So we go in the next 90 days. These are the 3 things that matter most. If we start working on these things and then the next quarter we work on other things and so on, we're steadily, progressively increasing our capability. We're building a strategy that is based on achieving more from less. And we're building a strategy as we progress up through this framework here, as we go up through each horizon. We're building a what must be accomplished strategy, not a how to accomplish strategy. Because what must be accomplished becomes mandatory, because that helps us become the organization that's going to evolve and stay relevant. How and when we get there is arbitrary. Can anyone tell me what's going to happen in the next 12 months? We can take a wild ass guess at some things, but you probably can't. You can't tell me what's going to happen in 3 years. So saying here's how we're going to build our organization in that period of time doesn't fly in today's world. Predictability is out the window. Right? Whereas before we had predictable cycles, you could say, yeah, here's what's going to happen over the next 10 years. Here's how we're going to build inside that. But we live in our generation's most uncertain of times. But this should be the most exciting of times for us in business, because nobody has a clue how it's supposed to be done anymore. And the rate of change is going to happen dramatically. It's going to happen rapidly. So how are you building your organization to be able to continue to evolve in an ever-changing environment? Because Darwin theory suggests that is not the strongest, the fastest, the fittest, or the most intelligent of the species that survives. It's the one that's most able to adapt to its ever-changing environment is the one that survives. So you need to build your organization in a way that the strategic way of your organization, rolls out is in a way where it's adaptive, where you can adapt to things. And when we know what must be accomplished, we can adapt to whatever new technologies, new things, whatever generation needs, consumer behaviors. We can adapt to that because we know what must be accomplished, but we're allowing the how-to to happen every quarter. So this whole leadership framework here, now we have a strategy that is born from culture. We know who we must become in order to evolve and stay relevant. We now built an evolution-based strategic plan for our organization, or a methodology. We use OKRs as a process for that. What you can also do now, when you look at it like this, guess what? Our team now can see the future of the organization, and they can see themselves having a future in that organization. We're now able to delegate outcomes, not tasks, to people. So when people bring their best self to work, and we're going to help them become even more of what they're capable of, they're going to be more involved in the work because they're involved in decisions about the work. They're going to have more sense of ownership of the work that they're doing. So not only do they get to see the future and feel that they can be a part of that future, they understand why we come to work every day. They know they're empowered to make decisions. They're inspired by the bigger picture. They know how we're evolving. They know the business that we're building together. They know they get to be involved in it, right? They get to have some say in the work that they're doing. They get to have some sense of ownership. And they have something to believe in, someone to believe in, and someone who believes in them. You have an invincible culture that will create your sustainable competitive advantage. And you've aligned culture and strategy, and culture never has to eat strategy for breakfast ever again. So here we go. So this is how you build a cultural framework that wraps around your strategy and protects it like a shield. This is how you build an invincible culture that gives people the something to believe in, someone who believes in them, and someone that they can believe in. This is how you allow your team to see the future of the organization so they can see themselves having a future. This is how you create this magnetic filter for talent that will attract and repel the people that want to be a part of it, and obviously attract the people who want to be a part of it and repel those who don't want to be a part of it. This is what we need to do in organizations today. It follows human behavior. It builds an organizational behavior model that follows human behavior. If you would like to have a closer look at this template, if you'd like a copy of it, please just put hashtag culture in the comments, and we'll make sure you get a copy of the template. Also, if you are in Perth, please understand, Perth or Geraldton, and you've seen this, we're having our Cultural Horizons Forum on November 1st in Perth, where we're going to show more detail on how to actually create your purpose, how to do your values, your vision, and your mission for your organization, how to set this up for your organization. All proceeds from that event are going to food banks. So if you'd like to come along to those events in Perth and help us raise a couple of grand for food bank for the Christmas food appeal, and learn this and hear from our clients who'll be speaking about their cultural frameworks, real people using this methodology in their organizations and how they're leading, living, and loving this, please come along. Also, Geraldton, November 3rd. If you'd like more information about how to set up your own cultural framework, just hashtag culture in the comments, and we'll make sure that we get that to you. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning into this. Any comments or questions or feedback, also, please put it in the comments, and I'll get back to you after the live stream and respond to all your questions. But until next Wednesday with Whiteboard Wednesdays with Dave, thanks for tuning in, and go build an invincible culture and capture the spirit of your people and build your one true sustainable competitive advantage.